It may not seem like it at first glance, but Trashy Sailors is very much a party game, in the same vein as Overcooked and similar titles. You might be sailing a raft, fighting off pirates and hungry alligators, but crisis management is the name of the game. The crisis is everything and you're the management. The engine needs refueled, the raft needs to be steered, the guns manned, and the crabs kicked off the deck, all while collecting trash from the waters in order to craft the scrap required to keep you high and dry. It's a frantic game condensed into the small area that is your raft. It takes a team effort to keep the raft in ship shape, but you can still sail the game alone or with friends in local or online co-op. Trashy Sailors certainly makes a strong first impression with its delightfully charming storybook art style. Its unique look stands with it from beginning to end and really makes it pop on screen. There is some kind of story at play, but I couldn't tell you what it is. The game is as weird as it is charming. What the fluck was uttered a great many times as I played, from tub-wearing men flying to my raft by flapping their arms, to a grinder that talks. The two-person dev team known as Flucky Machine made certain that their game stands out. The goal of every level is to get to the end while also grabbing maps along the way. The engine needs fuel, but once it's roaring, there's no stopping the raft unless you either sink, run out of fuel, or buy an anchor. Wrecking into things is naturally a poor strategy for staying out of the water, so steering the raft is fundamental to success. Multiple players can grab the wheel at one time to spin it faster, or the heavier characters can jump on the sides to give it a little tilt. As I mentioned before, Trashy Sailors is all about crisis management, and steering clear of obstacles is only a part of it. The raft will come under attack by all manner of enemies. Waves will sweep the crew away, and when the sun goes down, the spiders come out to play. Players have to keep the raft repaired, themselves healthy, and the lights on, all while fighting all manner of foe and trap. This is in addition to collecting trash to be ground into scrap. Scrap is required to repair the raft itself, and to load weapons such as cannons. The grinder is picky, and will give you different recipes, granting you more scrap if you feed it the right junk. But each recipe is only live for a short amount of time before the grinder switches gears. This combination leads to a very chaotic and frantic game of running around the raft screaming while trying to do several things at once, and never being able to do them all. Like any good party game, the result is stressful fun, where failure can be as entertaining as success if you're in the right mood and company for that kind of thing. You will no longer finish fighting off a swarm of boarding tribal warriors, only to realize you're about to smash into a tree or miss a map that's vital to your progress, and frantically try to address the situation. Maybe you're reeling in a treasure chest, only to get snagged by a noose trap, and it's amusing most of the time. You have to constantly adapt and split your time and effort between reeling in the trash, fighting, repairing, steering, and keeping the lights on, and it all makes for a very entertaining experience. Trashy Sailors is unfortunately a game of highs and lows. It does many things really well, but its strong points are continually cut short due to a few significant flaws. Trashy Sailors' core gameplay loop is fast, to the point, and fun. Every level takes around 10 minutes, and the game is quick to learn, giving it great pick-up and play value, especially in local co-op. Each level compounds the game's great gameplay with new hazards and obstacles to contend with. 1 minute, you're dodging geysers and volcanic rocks, while another has you exchanging cannon fire with attack boats. The enemy types and how they function are also a lot of fun. A hefty walrus on deck shifts the entire raft to the side, for example. That kind of variety keeps the game fresh. Each of the 4 characters has different attacks, strengths, and weaknesses, and you can upgrade your raft with new gizmos by collecting money, which is nice. Sadly, the fun is often impacted by frustrating controls. Nearly every action in the game is mapped to one button, and they can't be rebound. The raft is a pretty small area, and it's entirely too common to accidentally throw out a net when you meant to grab a cannon, or to pick up scrap when you meant to repair, or to accidentally perform 24 other things while frantically trying to climb the mast and turn on the light before the night spiders eat your face. When things get hectic, the issue is compounded as it can be difficult to see what you're trying to do in the first place, and it can take several seconds before you realize you accidentally did the wrong thing. I have more patience for these issues than Abby does, and it hurt her experience a lot more than mine. She mostly kept steering the raft while I handled the rest, so she didn't have to struggle to perform the other actions. The game can be played solo, but you have to control a second character. Its implementation works well enough, but I can't say it was fun. The chaos of the game went from joyful to overwhelming, and while I had no problem completing levels solo, the charm simply wasn't there. And finally, Trash Sailors is on the easy side. We never needed health kits and usually completed levels on the first try. Now, the game features an incredible variety of options to scale the game downward, from lowering the damage you take to even making yourself immortal or the raft unbreakable. Those granular accessibility options are great, but it was disappointing that there were no options to adjust it in the other direction and increase the challenge. This is especially problematic because the game is short. It only took us around 4 hours and we hadn't even bought all the upgrades. You could get more mileage out of it by doing the speedrun challenges or collecting all the maps, but that's only going to carry you so far. Trash Sailors can be a great, if short, experience depending on how well you tolerate the control scheme. Most actions being tied to one button makes it impossible to ignore or avoid. Trash Sailors managed to enter the party game genre with a unique flair and gameplay style that's fun when it's not being held back by other issues. But if you happen to get hooked, it's over when you're just getting started. Trash Sailors' frantic gameplay and variety of hazards and enemies certainly elevated above the heap of a dumpster dive, but the frustrating controls and lack of challenge mean it still smells a little bit after taking it home. Trash Sailors checks 2 of my gripe boxes pretty heavily. The first is a lack of challenge with no way to change it, and the second is being relatively short. Some people want short games, and that's fine. I don't, especially when a lack of challenge allows me to blow through it so much quicker. On the flip side, I really enjoy Trash Sailors' gameplay and art style. It's possibly my favorite take on the party game genre so far, at least from a gameplay perspective. The controls are something that could be patched in the future too, which would wipe away a massive part of what's bringing it down. I might want a longer, harder version of it, but there's definitely an audience for this game as it stands, especially if the controls receive a nice patch. To recap the pros. It has an awesome storybook art style. Working together to keep the raft afloat and on track amid a variety of dangers is a ton of fun. The enemy hazard and level variety keep things fresh. The game is easy to pick up and play, and Trash Sailors has a variety of accessibility options to tone down the game's challenge. The cons. One button is mapped to many actions, which causes mishaps and frustration. There is no option to increase the difficulty. Playing alone isn't entertaining, and the game is relatively short. Who would like this game? If control issues don't bother you much and you want a charmingly unique party game, Trash Sailors has a lot to love. If you need an approachable game to play with kids or casual gamers, Trash Sailors has the option to let you tailor that experience. If you need a game that works great with local co-op using controllers, Trash Sailors has you covered. Do you enjoy other party games such as Overcooked? Then there's a good chance you will like Trash Sailors. Who won't like this game? If you need a challenge to fully enjoy a game and are an experienced gamer, Trash Sailors will leave you wanting. Do you need a game to last you a while? Because Trash Sailors won't. It can be completed in a single sitting. Do you get frustrated by a game not doing what you intended when you push a button? If so, the control issues in Trash Sailors could be a deal breaker for you. All of that is Trash Sailors. Thanks for watching my review. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative, liking and subscribing is immensely helpful, and it will notify you when I post new content. You might also enjoy my review of EMBR, another interesting party game, and it should be appearing on the screen right about now. I've also left a few links down in the description below, one to my website where you can find the bulk of my written content, and a link to my Ko-fi page if you feel like tossing in a donation. But in any case, thanks for watching, and until next time.